On this episode, the dark arts of perfectionism. Perfectionism is egocentric, meaning it serves the individual, while OCD is ego dysonic, meaning it bothers the individual. This is our story on how we achieve perfection. In today's world, automotive manufacturing is at an all-time high. Robots and conveyor belts control the future. But where does the artist lay its hands? Where does the craftsman or the sculptor head into work? For me, I would much rather take something old, restore it and refinish it, than buy something new. Case in point, why this career chose me. As we continue work on this 1959 Chevrolet El Camino, we're at the now or never point for perfectionism. The rust repair has been patched and completed. The exterior body has been powder coated at 400 degrees, and we now are at the point where we spread auto body filler over the entire exterior surface of the vehicle. Once this two-part component dries, we are able to prep and sand smooth with 40 grit, 80 grit, and 150 grit sandpaper. Every corresponding body panel must align with its parallel counterpart. Note here, the edge of the tailgate does not match the edge of the wing. Continuously sanding and blending the edges of the panels with a 5-inch block, round and square, allows these panels to be faired and properly aligned. Note the minimal amount of body filler it takes to make perfection. Every automotive body panel varies in intricacy depending on the manufacturer. The tailgate panel, stamped in 1959 by the Chevrolet plant, has every compound and reverse curve you can imagine. This particular panel makes body filler application very difficult and time-consuming. Often, traditional methods with spreaders don't cut it, so the finger will act as a great applicator in these times. The old English proverb, "There is more than one way to skin a cat," and here are my methods for spreading body filler on this very intricate and detailed panel. By all means, if you have done this work yourself, you may have your own methods. But I do want to talk about the point at which the body filler becomes very malleable and starts to turn into a solid state. At this malleable point, you can use your edge of the body filler spreader or a razor blade to remove excess material on your panel. Once cured, the body filler is ready to block sand, and the shaping and the fun really begin. Let's head over while I work on the tailgate and check in with Brandon as he continues body filler work on the quarters and doors.
So right now I'm just kind of shaving, making sure everything's where it needs to be. All of our gaps and grooves are all gapped and grooved, and that we have a nice flat finish. We don't want to have it to where it dips in on one another. In the process of doing that, you don't want to just sand this one area, because then what you're going to do is you're going to definitely carve a groove right there. So you got to kind of elongate it on both sides to make sure that you're flaring it out and keeping it so it's just that consistent shape, as opposed to just diving it down right there to fix this one area and cause a problem on the other side of it. So we had these trim caps that were removable for this panel, and we decided we wanted to weld them on to make it one complete piece. So right now I'm just kind of blending those welds in, but also you have to factor in that this trim line wasn't going to be the same shape as it should be. So we have to kind of sometimes cheat that line, whether it be by filling it or tapping it down and then filling it. But in this instance, I kind of just went off of what we had, ran a tape line right here on this edge, and then filled it ever so slightly so it would just give it that illusion that it was all one continuous piece. And when you close the door here, you can see that it translates all the way through. So make sure we have that trim line that goes all the way through and then fades out into the back windshield.
As our quest for perfection continues, Brandon has noticed that the door to B-pillar gap is a 1/16 of an inch too tight. A ratchet strap is used to make a pull in the opposite direction, thus opening the gap to the exact size that we need. Light, minimal MIG welds are used from the window opening to the door top to hold the panels in place. This level of detail and meticulous time spent to create perfection is absolutely exhausting and taxing on the mind. While Brandon finishes door and window fitment, I am back on the passenger side of the tailgate. The issues that come across while doing this type of work range and vary. This is what we call the dark arts. The tricks and the tips that have evolved after years and years of this type and this level of body preparation. As we simultaneously finish the fender, door, and tailgate preparation, we move towards the simple task of masking the vehicle for high build primer. After the long, drawn-out week session of finishing the tailgate, fenders, and doors, we are ready to spray high build primer. The dance begins between the spray gun, the painter, and the automobile. Every pass is a machine, 50% overlap, continuous even strokes. I am the machine. High build primer gives us the first actual reflections of light on the panels that we worked so hard to make perfect. At times, we see imperfections, from the reflections, and this is 100% to be expected. Indeed, we are one step closer in the right direction, but time will tell if we continue to make changes. Greatness is not a destination. It is a continuous journey that never ends.